How? God? Psalm 56:3. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. A story of relying on faith during moments of fear or uncertainty. In times of doubt or difficulty, when one asks, how?
Del suo DNA, ma non riesce a metterla. Tucker vuole dare un segno a Rayjon Tucker. Ma cosa ha fatto Rayjon Tucker? Terrificante.
The only answer is God.
Hey, it's too smooth. Let her in.
A lot of people told me that I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't make it. I was athletic. Needed to go back and play football. But I told everybody that I was going to be the first one to do it, and I was.
And when other people told him what he couldn't do or what he wouldn't be, I was there telling him what you will do and what you will be.
You know, growing up in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was around a lot of football. Grew up in a football family. My dad played football. You know, so that was my first sport, my first love. I always played basketball, but it was more so just my friends played it, so I played it. You know, my dad ended up leaving when I was 9, and you know, I had to grow up fast, take care of my little brother who was 2 at the time. Mom worked 3 jobs, so you know, I had to do a lot of things early that were unexpected. Take care of him, make sure I did my homework, make sure his diapers were changed, he was fed, make sure I got my sleep, make sure mom's was good money-wise. You know, that was a little bit later in my childhood. It was tough though. You know, just growing up without a father. Mom had to play both roles. She dragged us around everywhere. I'm talking about to sorority meetings, fundraisers. So I was in the community a lot, but you know, just not really having, you know, that father figure around. You know, I had to learn a lot of things on my own and still try to be a good role model for my little brother and try to do things the right way. And you know, it turned out pretty well, you ask me. Ended up meeting Jeff McGinnis around my sophomore year of high school. Had no offers, didn't play any sports my sophomore year. Didn't know what I was gonna do. I ended up changing from football to basketball. Was predicted to be like one of the top free safeties and wide receivers in the nation my freshman year. 13 interceptions, 10 games as a freshman. Had a Letterman's jacket, it was lit. But you know, I wanted to take a different route because my father played football, so I just kind of wanted to make, you know, my own way, my own lane. So I chose to play basketball, and you know, one summer Jeff got me in the lab, and it took off from there. I went from having no offers from every school in the country calling to, you know, see what I could do and wanting me. Top 100 in the nation in basketball going into my senior year. But yeah, my childhood was different. It was difficult. A lot of people told me that I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't make it. I was athletic. Needed to go back and play football. But I told everybody that I was going to be the first one to do it, and I was. So growing up, my mom, my little brother, everything to me. My little brother is like a son. He calls me Pops. I call him Son, because you know he shine like one. But my mom, you know, she was a strong woman. She did everything for us. She made sure we ate, made sure we had clothes on our backs, shoes on our feet. It may not have been the best, but she made it look presentable, and you know, we were always happy. Going into my sophomore year of college, our house burned down, and you know, that was big on me being 12 hours away from home. And you know, I've always been the man of the house since I was 9, and being able to, you know, trying to find a way to provide and make my way in, you know, the basketball scene and not knowing how that was going, it took a toll on me. And then, you know, fast forward to, I want to say my 3rd year pro, she ended up calling me and telling me she had cancer. And I think that kind of just, you know, lit a fire under me, and, you know, to realize time isn't always, you know, here for us, and we got to get things done when we needed to get it done. And I wanted my mom to see me, you know, be one of the best to ever do it. And, you know, I put my hard hat on every day to make sure that, you know, I'm the man that can give them whatever they need and whatever they want without them asking. And I pride myself on that, of just, you know, providing for mine. And shit, here we are. I love it. We got a little surprise guest. Hey, yo, Mom, come here, please and thank you.
I'm Tawana. I'm Rayjon Tucker's mom. And dealing with Rayjon, I think that tells it all. Some stuff we'll leave at home. He was always a great kid, honestly. He was always a great kid. Had the normal issues that any parent would have with their child, just making them stay focused on what the goals were, helping him stay a nice young man. Like he said, when other people told him what he couldn't do or what he wouldn't be, I was there telling him what you will do and what you will be. But we are a very spiritual family, with knowing that there's a higher being of God that's in our life, and saying that we understand that we're the temple of what we're supposed to be. So not having a surprise as a trait of having breast cancer at that time was pretty breathtaking. That's the word I'm gonna use. I have another younger son, Rayjon Tucker, who had to stay home with me while he was playing basketball. So a lot of things I tried to keep away from both of them until I found out what it was.
You gonna keep talking, or you just gonna keep looking at me?
I guess, so I have to say, you know, if it wasn't for God, I already know whose I was, what I was gonna be, and I knew it wasn't gonna take me out. I had the most aggressive cancer that it was. I didn't get any dates saying, you know, you're gonna live 3 months or anything like that, but I knew whose I was and what I was not gonna have to go through and go through. Sometimes, you know, you go through things, and I used to tell them, sometimes you go through things and it's not for you. It can be for other individuals, to be a powerhouse to help someone else, or even to make my younger son grow up a little bit more, to become a better young man quicker because he was on his way to college, or even to make him focus more on those things that he was supposed to do in the league and playing ball, just understanding who he was. Just like a regular job, you have those things that you don't like, that you do like. And, you know, sometimes you guys talked about mental health, and with mental health, you have to categorize things. I always tell them, put things in different boxes, and that's how you can deal with things a little bit better. But rather than that, I'm clean as always. So, and I am here, and I'm not going nowhere. So
0%. Let's just clarify that up. And clear. One percenter.
Yeah. So my
Family of 1%ers. That's for real.
So my oncologist was in tears when my results came back, because she said that less than 1% get what I've had and survived, and then I was giving a 0% chance of getting it back. But, you know, as a health official, she has to say it can always come back. And I'm not on any other medication or anything thereafter.
This your time to gas me now.
There's no need to gas. There's no need to gas. Let your work speak for you. So the things that he does off the court, the community service things that he's done growing up with me, to the point of just things that he does now, how he goes back out into the community.
Talking about AAU team.
Yeah, oh yeah, AAU team, to even just being with Ted, putting in the work here with Jeff McGinnis and different individuals that we have. We have a small circle, a very small circle, and a tight connection to that circle. And it's important to be authentically you at all times. Because I always say the higher the levels, the bigger the devils. That's my great term. I have a lot of acronyms that I give my kids in order for them to remember things as we go along. But am I excited? I'm more than excited. I'm more than excited because he's more than deserving. And when I said I'm not saying that because I'm his mother, because I'm probably his hardest critic. I'm probably his hardest critic. When everybody's running around praising, I'm like, oh, you ain't there yet. I need this, I need that. Because there's always somebody coming up behind you to take your spot. Your spot is not guaranteed, just like anything else. So am I excited? Yes. Was I excited when he was in NBA too? Yes. Because he's doing something that he loves and something that I know he had to work for, because he was really a football player, like very good. That's a natural talent for him. He had to work at basketball. So for me, I always tell him, whatever it is you want to do, it's not about us. And if there's one thing I would like to say is to all the parents out there, do not allow anybody to dictate to your child what your child can or cannot do. Because I went through that session with my child too. Another acronym is, everybody sees your glory, but everybody doesn't know your story.
High school was fun, man. You know, playing for Jeff. He was also my high school coach, assistant coach. But you know, Byron Dinkins, who played at Charlotte and also pro, and Joe Badgett. It was fun, man. They taught me a lot, and the biggest thing they told me was, you know, I was athletic, so run the floor, get rebounds, dunk the ball any chance I got, and play defense, and that's what kind of got my name out there, and that's what I did. I remember one game, I ended up scoring like 40 points. I think if you watch that game, I may have only took one jump shot, but it was all dunks, run outs, defensive plays, steals. It was fun, you know, played with a lot of great guys. They taught me a lot. We ended up going to the Dix National tournament, ranked in the nation. I think it was like 7 in the nation. So that was super fun. Like I said, I was top 100 in the nation, so I really had every school that, you know, you could want. And my dad kind of messed up my recruitment. I don't want to go too deep into that. But I ended up committing to Florida Gulf Coast, Dunk City, which, you know, kind of fit the mold of, you know, the person or the player that I was at the time. Had a great couple years there, went to the tournament twice, had dunk of the year once, ended up breaking the shot clock. Obviously, I had a big dunk in the tournament against Florida State. Big shots made, you know, just really those 2 years were the years that kind of led into, you know, me turning into the player that I was. And, you know, I didn't really enjoy the basketball part too much of that, but at Gulf Coast, but I ended up transferring to Arkansas, Little Rock, and that's when everything took off. So after, you know, I wanted to transfer from Florida Gulf Coast, I just kind of was down on myself. Didn't know if basketball was really something I should have been doing. I think I kind of got in my head of how things were going at home and on the court at the same time. And I went to transfer, and I had made a decision where, you know, I decided that I wasn't going to play basketball anymore. So, you know, I had a couple of schools that, you know, wanted to take a look at me for football. I haven't touched the football in 5 years, and Arkansas Little Rock was one of the schools that had called, and, you know, I told them that they were the only school that I was going to come and, you know, visit. You know, my mom always told me that, you know, you have to be a man of your word, and I had told them that I would come. So end up going to Arkansas Little Rock, and Solomon Bozeman and Wes Flanagan were there, and it was just something about everything that they were saying to me. It just felt organic, and like they really cared about me. And I talked to my mom about it, and I said, I want to give basketball one more try. And my red shirt season, I was in the gym 3-4 times a day. I was waking up 6 in the morning to go work out before class. Then I would go to class, and then I would come back and lift. And then after I would lift, I would work out before practice. And then we would practice, and then I would work out after practice. And then even when they were going on road trips, I was in the weight room with the coach 2-3 times a day, and we were doing on-court stuff. And, they really just harped on polishing my game and, making me into the killer that I am now. And that really jump-started everything, and, I really appreciate them. And, I tell them all the time that they really elevated and changed my love for the game and made me love it again. But the next year when I ended up playing, we didn't have the best year, but my numbers were off the charts. I averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting 40 from the 3, 50 from the field. So I just felt like, my mom always told me numbers don't lie. And I took my chances and, decided to keep my name in the draft, and I think it paid off. Balancing, basketball and academics is always going to be tough, especially once you get to college. But it's mandatory. Obviously, you can't play if you don't have the grades, but you got to remember that at some point in time, the ball is going to stop bouncing, and that's the thing that's going to carry you on into, other aspects of your life that, you may like or you may not like and you want to change. But, my mom always preached that academics was first, and she always stressed that. I remember one time in middle school, I brought a C home, and we was warming up before the game, and she walked in the gym and snatched me off the court and told my coach I wasn't playing because I had a C, even though I had the best grades on the team. But that just goes to show like how much she, harped on just, being a student first, a student athlete. You feel what I'm saying? That's why a student is first. So it was tough. You got to balance, life, being on your own, time management. Just making sure you stay on top of things, prioritizing. You're gonna have fun in college, but you also gotta make sure that you take care of business the same way you wanna take care of business on the court. And just like I said earlier, I told Jeff McGinnis in high school that I was gonna be the first one to go pro. So subconsciously, I always had that drive and the thought in my head to, make it to the league and prove everybody wrong. And then I got to a point once basketball didn't start going the way I wanted to, and I transferred and went to Little Rock. It became more of proving the people who believed in me right. And that's what I did. And I kind of always knew, like, especially after the season I had at Little Rock, I knew that I was gonna go to the league if I didn't go transfer to a bigger school. That was my next step. So yeah, I always had it in my head that I was gonna be that guy to go do it. I went undrafted in a 2019 draft, but Milwaukee ended up calling me and saying they wanted to sign me to a training camp deal to, see if I could earn a spot really on their team. So, I didn't end up making the cut, but Giannis, we talked about it, and he actually thought I made the team. And he basically told me that, keep grinding, keep working, like keep getting better, like your time will come. That his brother was going through the same thing, is just trying to, find his niche and figure out everything. And he let me customize a couple of his first pair of shoes that he had, and he ended up sending them down to the G League for me when I was with the Wisconsin Herd. And going into a little bit of that, I was the fastest player to ever come out the G and get a standard contract, multi-year deal contract actually. I played 15 games. I want to say I went on like a 7-game stretch of averaging like 35, 7, and 4. So Utah ended up signing me midway through the year on Christmas Day, which is kind of tough. It was like the best Christmas present I could have ever gotten. So ended up going to Utah halfway through the season, and you know, it was fun. You know, I was excited about, you know, getting the contract, working, and, you know, me and Donovan Mitchell, we knew each other since high school, so it was kind of cool to, you know, be on the same team with him again. And but then reality kind of set in where, you know, being one of the younger guys on, at the time, a really good Utah Jazz team, not being able to play and just working out every day, and you know, looking at guys that you might feel like you're better than, but you have to remember that it's a business. So that year was kind of weird too, because that was the same year as COVID, and our season kind of abruptly stopped, and I didn't get to finish out my whole rookie season the way I wanted to. But we ended up going to the bubble. I played great in the bubble. I had 2 or 3 games. My career high, I think I had 17 both games, and then a game of 18 points. You know, we played pretty well, and they had really high hopes on me. The next year, I ended up getting traded to Cleveland, and my agent had them waive me just because they had a lot of guards at the time, and ended up going to training camp with the Clippers, but eventually Philly ended up picking me up on a 2-way, and that year was amazing. So we had a G League bubble, and me and my guy Paul Reed and a couple other guys that were on the team, we ended up going all the way to the championship, taking them to the first ever championship that they had for their G League team, which was only like 15 games. They made the season real short. We ended up losing, but coming back and really being able to like take what I had learned from the first year and grind it out and try to be a better professional and just mature on and off the court. It was great. Had a great year with Philly and Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid, and made connections with Dwight Howard, Danny Green, you know, the list goes on. George Hill, Tyrese Maxey, who's doing great right now. You know, I could keep going, but I would have to name everybody for real. You know, a lot of guys in the league. And you know, that next year, I ended up going back to the G League and going back to the Bucks G League team, and you know, it was fun. You know, going back to where I kind of started my career at, and being able to be in that system again. Ended up becoming the all-time leading scorer, and not even have played a full year with them. I got my own bobblehead. That shit was dope. It was dope. I'm not gonna lie. So that was fun. Ended up getting, I want to say, 3 10-days. One was with Minnesota, 2 were with Denver. Ended up playing on the USA team, qualifier team that year, and went to DC. So, you know, that year was big. And then closer to the end of that season, Milwaukee signed me to a multi-year deal. And, you know, I played super well the ending stretch of, you know, that season. And obviously that didn't go how we planned. We ended up losing to the Celtics in round 2. And, you know, so from that point on, it was kind of where do I go from here, and my next step was to go overseas. Transitioning from college to the pros, I wouldn't say it wasn't difficult. It's just different than college was. You know, the line is much further back. Also, you have a lot of time on your hands where you don't have school now. You're done around 2, 3 o'clock. So after, you know, you finish in the gym, you kind of have the world at your hands. So, you know, getting into different hobbies and learning what I like to do outside of basketball was a big thing that, you know, kind of helped me transfer over into that. But I think the biggest thing that was difficult in making that transition was just learning how to be a professional on and off the court. Once I learned that, it was like the sky was the limit. So my first year overseas, I went to the lovely Australia, and their seasons are backwards. So it was summertime during basketball season over there, so it was really dope. Ended up taking my cousin over there with me, who is my manager as well. It was fun. Obviously, that transition from playing in the league to playing overseas was difficult. I want to say I struggled tremendously the first little bit of that season, but once I figured it out, I was easily the best player that they probably seen come through there for sure. So it's hard not to love a player that brings a lot of enthusiasm and love for the game and passion onto the court while he plays. So I had a great end of the season there, which trajected me to get the offer that I got in Europe with Venice this past year. And usually they try to lowball guys their first year, and fortunately for me, I had a coach that coached with guys that I played for when I was in the NBA, so he was very familiar with my game and knew what I could bring to the table, and he put a lot of trust in me. And my main goal when I went there was to win games. Obviously I had a good end of the year in Melbourne, but we didn't win a lot of games. We missed the playoffs by 2 points because they do a point system over there. So I was back home the summer before in like February, so I had a long summer to kind of like work at everything that I wanted to do. And me and my guy Tev got in the gym heavy, Jeff McGinnis as well, my guy Evan in the weight room. That summer I was probably in there in the gym 3-4 times a day, all day, running from Davison to Belmont, back home to take a quick nap and going to the gym again. But the year in Venice was, I would say, up until this point, obviously I have another year and more years to keep doing it, but my best professional career. Obviously I had another amazing dunk that went viral. That was super dope. It was the game to put us in the first place. I shot the ball well, played well, and we were winning a lot of games. Didn't do too well in Euro Cup because we were missing a couple players, injuries and different things. But me and my teammates still held it down, and were able to at least give ourselves a fighting chance. We ended up finishing 4th, but it was a fun year, man. I accomplished a lot. I was top 3 nominee for MVP last year, and obviously I should have got it. And you ask anybody, I should have got it for sure. But you know how politics work. All the teams said that I was the MVP. You go down and ask the team and the players, like, what player do we not want to guard every night? And it was me. But the fans and the media gave it to Bellinelli, which makes sense. He's from Italy. They were the #1 team in the league at the time, and he played for the Euro League team that that I just signed to. Shout out Virtus, you feel me? But it was fun. I had a great time in Venice, and that leads me to this year of playing 1 year in Europe and being able to go right back to the highest league that you could get to outside of the NBA, which is the Euro League. And I'm blessed to be in this position and just do what I do best. Being a professional and trying to balance personal life is super tough. It's a lot of sacrifices you got to make of being away from family from long periods of times, being on the road, and especially being overseas, you're across the water from family. So early on, I'm pretty sure my mother and my little brother would tell you that I wasn't the best at, just communicating and, just reaching out and different things. They always reached out to me and I talked to them, of course, but I think later in my career and now I've been a lot better at just, making sure I check in and making sure they're good and, having those talks and just, decompressing and resetting my mind and my spirit with, the people who love me and are there for me and have been there for me. So it's tough, but I think that's just a part of growing up and learning what you need to, be successful. My biggest challenge was just being a professional and everything, I think, was just unlearning habits and knowing that everybody's perspective is going to be their perspective. So you have to learn to live with the results and, you put in the work. So you got to go out there and play free and not put too much pressure on yourself, because at the end of the day, the work that you put in, the time that you put in, the sweat, the tears, and just the whole nine, and just go out there and play free. At the end of the day, it's a game, and it's just a game that I love, and I'm a competitor at the end of the day. So obviously every time I want to be great, but just learning to not put so much pressure on myself and just to, be free. If the ball goes in, it goes in. If not, we'll get it back the next possession. And just to have that mindset of just being present and being where my feet are at. Taking care of your body is main priority. You gotta stretch, you gotta hydrate, you gotta get your rest. You gotta eat right, and your body is your moneymaker. If this doesn't perform, then you can't perform on the court. If you're injured, then you can't play. And this game is all about longevity and your production. So being able to really just tap into every aspect of making sure that my body could do exactly what I wanted to do, when I needed to, how I wanted to. The biggest thing that, I do to just keep my mind at peace, or, I'm going through a rough time, is, I read my Bible. I'm a big believer in God and Jesus and my faith. And I believe when you have holes or voids that need to be felt, He's the only one that can give you an everlasting, love and an everlasting, feeling to feel whatever that is. Mental health is a big thing that we don't talk about enough as athletes. Everybody thinks, we play this game that we love and it's all fun and games, but, we take pride in, being the best. Nobody wants to go out and not perform, or, we still have other things going on at home, and, we're still meant to come in every day and make sure that we're personable and make sure we're the people that we're supposed to be to the fans and to our teammates and to the front office and all those types of things. And even on the court, where no matter what we're going through, nobody knows what happened 5 hours before the game. Everybody knows what I did on the court that night day. You know what I'm saying? If it's good, oh, praise. If it's bad, you might be the worst player to ever touch a basketball. So just making sure you take care of that, and just talk to people that you love, and always have somebody that is not going to be a yes man to you, is going to tell you exactly what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. But also having a person that gives you that pat on the back and tell or friends that tell you oh, I'm proud of you, like giving you your flowers. I think that's one thing that this generation and people in general don't do enough, is give people their flowers while they're here. We're all, striving to be great as we can be. We're all trying to figure out our purpose in life and just maintain and, do everything that we want to do and that, that we can do. So just making sure that, you stay tapped in physically with stretching, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and the sky's the limit. God will take you wherever you want to go. I think my style and, just who I am as a person comes a lot from my mother. You know, I grew up dancing and being into music, and she owns her own dance studio. So I think just, you know, self-expression and just being yourself is always been a big thing. Just in our family, you know, we always take pride in, you know, being who you are and, you know, being unapologetically you. So, you know, I like to do different things with my hair. You might see me playing with pigtails, or might have the braids to the back, to the side. Obviously, you know, I do my nails. It's just, you know, a little fashion statement because, you know, I own my own clothing brand as well. Obviously, I love music. I grew up around music, make music. So it's just, you know, I love to dress. I love fashion. You know, I put on anything, the jewelry, the necklaces, the earrings, you know, just the different things, the shoes. So I just like to, you know, just figure out what I like to do. You know, I sit in the house and I color. I play video games. I sit wine and I paint. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a numerous of things that, you know, that I just get into to see what I like and, you know, just keep my mind busy. My mom always says the idle mind is the devil's playground, and I don't want him nowhere near me. So, but, you know, like, that's just me, and I think my fans connect with me well off of that because I am who I am. I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. I remember the times where people told me that I wasn't going to be who I am and who I'm becoming, and you know, I remember those things. And so when I see fans, or when I see, you know, kids or people who look up to me, it reminds me of me. You know, you never know what that kid or that person is going to be, or what a kind word or a nice gesture will do for them just to impact their life. So, you know, I always try to engage, and, you know, especially even on the court, I want them to have as much fun on the court or in the stands watching me as I'm having on the court. So, you know, it's fan engagement, or, you know, just being who I am and a personable person in general is just a good person is what I pride myself on. Pride myself on, you know, being a lover, giving out love and giving out grace. You know, we all go through things, we all do things. It's just about getting up and taking those next steps to be great. Going into, you know, the top league in Europe is definitely a blessing, to say the least. You know, I don't have too many words on, you know, what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it, and, you know, that's never been me. I've never been one to, you know, pop my shit unless I'm on the court and you see what I'm doing. But, you know, I do what I do, and I do what I do best, and I don't really have any expectations other than to win games. I'm a winner at the end of the day, and, you know, that's what I do. I win games, and I play basketball, and I am who I am. So take that how you want it, take it or leave it. Tuck's coming to the Euro League, feel me?
Okay, one other thing I forgot to tell you. You talked about what type of child Rayjon Tucker is, right? Growing up, Rayjon would test you to a certain degree. So we had this one time, he got in trouble. So I said, I'm gonna try this new thing and I'm gonna put him in timeout. So I said, okay. He had this little red rocking chair that he used to love, just a little red rocking chair he used to love. And I said, you sit in that little rocking chair, you sit in that chair, I put his nose in the corner. I said, you better not move, I don't care, whatever it is. I said, I'm going upstairs, you better not move.
You know, he told me not to get my butt out this chair.
Oh yeah, there it is. See, he still remembers, right?
Yeah.
Told him not to get his butt out the chair. So I went upstairs and I kept hearing something. I was like, no, ain't nobody downstairs but him, so he should not be moving at all. I go downstairs, I peek around the corner, all I see is this little kid with a little chair like this, running around, going to this toy, holding one thing, coming back. And I was like, is he really running around the room getting toys and playing with it? But guess what? He did not take his butt out that chair. So when I asked him, I scared him. He's like, what? I said, Rayjon? He said, what? I said, didn't I tell you to sit in that corner and I would take your butt out that chair? He said, I didn't. I had this chair right here. So that goes to show you what type of child he was. He's gonna take what you said and he made it still work to his benefit.
Listen,
gotta make it work with the cards that you dealt. Like I had to do something. Loopholes. I was smart. I call it smart. I don't know what she call it.
Just pray for me.
I call it smart.